I bought this old voice recorder mostly as a joke. It looked like a relic from another era, all metal buttons, a cracked screen, and it even had that faint, nostalgic smell of dust and long-dead batteries. The seller at the flea market practically gave it to me, swearing up and down that it was just a paperweight, completely broken. "Doesn't work," he'd said with a shrug. But when I got it home, curiosity got the better of me. I found a pair of old batteries that fit and popped them in. The screen flickered for a second, then died. Still, on a whim, I pressed the play button. For a moment, there was nothing but a hiss of static. And then, a whisper. It was faint, buried under the noise, but it was there. It said, "Don't delete me." I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs. I was completely alone in my apartment. I looked at the recorder's tiny screen. It showed no files. I jabbed the stop button and the whisper vanished, leaving only the sound of my own ragged breathing. They say curiosity is a dangerous kind of hunger, and in that moment I knew I was starving. I had to keep it. That night, the recorder sat on my bedside table, looking sinister in the dim light. I couldn't shake the feeling it was watching me. Around midnight, I picked it up, my hands clammy. I hit the red record button. A heavy static filled the room, the kind that feels like the air itself is vibrating with an unseen energy. "Is anyone here?" I asked, trying to sound casual, like it was all a game. The silence that followed was heavy, expectant. I was about to turn it off, convinced I was just scaring myself, when a voice came through the speaker. It was soft, almost breathless, and it sent a chill crawling up my spine. It said, "You shouldn't have bought me." I dropped the recorder onto the bed as if it had burned me. It landed with a soft thud. Across the room, the little red recording light blinked on its own, a malevolent eye in the darkness. My mind was racing. This was impossible. When my courage returned, I snatched it back up and tried to delete the file. But the screen just froze, displaying a single chilling word in blocky letters: locked. From that night on, things spiraled. A new file would appear on the recorder every single morning. I never made them. They were always recorded at exactly 3:17 a.m. while I was fast asleep. The first few were just that same, unnerving static. But then, the whispers started. They began layering themselves into the noise, weaving in and out of the static like phantoms. Some of the whispers were in my own voice. Others were completely unfamiliar, deeper, raspier, older. I'd listen to them in the cold morning light, my coffee forgotten, trying to make sense of the fragmented words. In one particularly clear recording, I heard myself ask a question, my voice shaky with sleep. "Who are you?" And then a reply came back, as clear as if someone were standing right next to me. It said, "You." I went into a frenzy trying to find a logical explanation. I checked my phone logs, my laptop's activity history, anything that could prove I wasn't losing my mind. But there was nothing. The device was a closed system. It had no memory card slot, no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth capability. There was absolutely no logical reason for it to be doing any of this. It shouldn't have been alive. Then came the night that shattered my last bit of skepticism. I was jolted awake by a sound. It was the recorder sitting on my nightstand, playing a file all by itself. I grabbed it, my eyes struggling to focus on the tiny screen. The timestamp sent a wave of ice through my veins. It read, "Tomorrow, 3:17 a.m. It was playing a recording from the future. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I just sat there, in the dark, watching the clock on my phone, waiting for 3:17 a.m. to arrive. As the numbers ticked over, the little red light on the recorder blinked. It began recording. My throat was dry, my hands trembling, but I had to know. I leaned in close and whispered, "What do you want?" The static that answered was different this time. It grew thicker, more oppressive, like the air in the room was folding in on itself. And then a voice replied from inside the device. It was my voice, but the tone was all wrong, cold, detached, and utterly alien. It wasn't me speaking. It said, "I want to finish what you started." The next morning, I woke up with my head pounding, the recorder still clutched in my hand. I forced myself to look at the screen. All the previous files were gone, wiped clean. Only one remained. Its name was Final Rec. With a sense of dread so profound it felt like I was drowning, I pressed play. But there was no static this time. No whispers, just a single faint click. The sound of a stop button being pressed. And then, my own voice, whispering one last time from the speaker. Recording stopped. I stared at the device, my mind blank with terror. Then the screen flickered and the date changed. It no longer showed today's date. It now read October 31st. Tomorrow. The recorder's little light blinked once, then again. It's been doing that all night. A steady, rhythmic pulse in the darkness of my room. It's waiting. I haven't pressed play since, and I don't think I ever will. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you enjoyed this, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more. It really helps the channel out. Stay safe out there.